Dude, what the heck, dude? I'm gonna do some fixes, don't worry. Eventually. I'm gonna do some fixes.
In a very successful.
So what was the subject of discussion? Was it
Pretty much that. I said to him, I'd love you to take on more, because I'm looking at the whole Gaza Strip right now, and it's a mess. It's a real
So
mess.
you'd like Jordan to house people from
I'd like
Gaza?
him to take people. I'd like Egypt to take people. I'm talking to General El-Sisi tomorrow, sometime I believe. And I'd like Egypt to take people, and I'd like Jordan to take people. You're talking about probably 1.5 million people, and we just clean out that whole thing.
Yeah, just clean it out, ethnically, like the ethnic Palestinians, they just cleaning them out. Just clean it out, dude. I don't understand. Come on. Breaking. Trump wants Arab nations to help just clean out Gaza's population. In remarks reported by Reuters and AP, Trump proposed relocating Palestinians from Gaza to neighboring Arab countries, describing the enclave as literally a demolition site. Almost everything is demolished and people are dying there. Speaking aboard Air Force One, Trump said he told Jordan's King Abdullah, I'd love you to take on more because I'm looking at the whole Gaza Strip right now and it's a mess, a real mess. I'd like him to take out people. I'd like Egypt to take people, Trump added. You're talking about probably 1.5 million people. We just clean out the whole thing and say, it's over. He said the area encompassing Gaza has had many conflicts over centuries and suggested that relocation could be temporary or long-term. So I'd rather get involved with some Arab nations and build housing in a different location where they can maybe live in peace for a change. Trump also plans to discuss the issue with Egypt's President Sisi on Sunday. Egypt's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has responded to Trump's remarks, calling on Egypt and Jordan to help ethnically cleanse the Gaza of Palestinians. The statement expresses Egypt's continued support for the steadfastness of the Palestinian people on their land and their adherence to the legitimate rights on their land and their homeland, and to the principles of international law and international humanitarian law. It also stresses the rejection of any infringement of these inalienable rights, whether through settlement or annexation of land, or by evacuating that land of its owners through displacement, or encouraging the transfer or uprooting of Palestinians from their lands, whether temporary or in the long term, in a way that threatens the stability and portends future extension of the conflict in the region and undermines the chances of peace and coexistence among its peoples. Dude, I'm so torn on this issue, but he's not asking Israel, come on, man. Yes, they need homes with guarantee of return. Also, no, there's no guarantee of return. They're never going to let them return. He wants to ethnically wipe out the Gaza Strip at the behest of Israel, as I've suggested in the past that he most likely would do, and also reshift their priorities into the West Bank anyway, and then permanently annex the West Bank. The problem with this is that this is what I suspected the American policy was out of Israel this time around. And I repeated it over and over again. The thing that really frustrates me about this specifically is that the Biden administration had no intention of doing anything differently than Donald Trump. And now that Donald Trump has been able to successfully push for a ceasefire, he can just move on with these desires. The Biden administration made no assurances that they even wanted this ceasefire at all. And that's what's unimaginably frustrating. So people will look to this and go, well, see, Trump is so much worse on Gaza. He was going to be. And that's what my suspicion was as well. But if I knew that, then why the did the Biden administration not take action to put a stop to all of this when they had every opportunity to do so and refused to do so? Do you see what I'm saying? Just like I've held the Trump administration accountable for October 7 for a lot of the policies that ended up making October 7 a reality from the Trump administration, I still hold the Biden administration accountable for refusing to stop Israel when they had every power to do so. It was so simple that Donald Trump was able to do it with a random real estate developer. And now they're going to re-escalate, most likely. The Abraham Accords and everything that the Trump administration did actually cut out Palestinians from the conversation. That was a major reason why October 7 happened. And now Donald Trump is literally going on with the same exact principle where he's like, come on, just get him out of there. What are we doing here? It's Israel's land now. So I said, absolutely no one has the interests of Palestinians in mind in American government. It's just the truth. Itamar Ben-Gvir congratulates Trump on the idea of transferring Gazans to Jordan and Egypt. One of our demands of Netanyahu is to encourage voluntary migration, and when Trump, president of the world superpower himself, raises the idea, it would be wise for the Israeli government to implement it. Trump got a ceasefire so quick because he promised a one-state solution. Yeah, except that one state is Israel, and also it has no Palestinians in it, which is the Israeli vision. So that's what he wants to do. Great stuff.
Over the centuries, it's had many, many conflicts that site. And I don't know, it's something has to happen, but it's literally a demolition site right now. Almost everything's demolished, and people are dying there. So I'd rather.
Once again, Republicans have a great way of just like propagandizing their positions in a way that that seemingly makes sense if you're just like completely oblivious, right? Oh, it's just common sense. I mean, Gaza is reduced to rubble. It's just a rebuilding process. It's just common sense. You don't understand. Like they'll be allowed to return. No, they won't. Okay. And you're not going to be able to get many Palestinians to actually leave voluntarily regardless. There's going to be a lot of people, understandably, that choose to stay behind. And the reason for why they will choose to stay behind is because they've been sent to the Gaza Strip to begin with under very similar circumstances. Sometimes, their grandparents have been sent or their parents have been sent to the Gaza Strip under similar circumstances with the hopes of being able to return to their ancestral homelands. And then, of course, they were never allowed to. That's how the Gaza Strip began. The population transfer of 750,000 Palestinians from their ancestral homelands, from their villages, with the lie that they would be able to return once the war was over. That, of course, very quickly very quickly fell apart. The notion that they'd ever return to their homes. Qatari Foreign Ministry spokesperson says, "We have reached an understanding that Hamas will hand over Erbil Yehuda and 2 others before Friday." This Erbil Yehuda is the one that was in contention, so they're releasing her as well.
Thank you, President Trump, for keeping your promise to give Israel the tools it needs to defend itself.
Oh my God, we are living in the worst timeline. Straight up, it sucks. Worst timeline is imminent. Worst timeline is upon us, dude. Thank you, Mr. President, for giving us 2,000-pound bombs. It's so sick. We will certainly use this for good reasons, of course, as 2,000-pound bombs are used. Thank you. We would like to kill more babies, and you have now given us more weapons to kill more babies. Elent News, Lebanon ceasefire. White House statement on agreed extension between Lebanon and Israel. The arrangement between Lebanon and Israel, monitored by the United States, will continue to be in effect until February 18th. The government of Lebanon, the government of Israel, and the government of the United States will also begin negotiations for the return of Lebanese prisoners captured after October 7th, 2023.
To confront our common enemies and to secure a future of peace and prosperity.
Israel's Ministerial Committee for Legislation approved on Sunday the advancement of a bill that would make it easier for Jews to purchase land in the West Bank. Thank God. Thank God, dude. It wasn't easy enough already. Thank God. You're going to see a lot more protests at synagogues and shit in the United States of America, and people are going to say it's for anti-Semitism. Jewish community centers and synagogues sometimes will shamelessly do West Bank real estate development seminars, attaching Judaism falsely to this settlement project that is violent, illegal, immoral, abhorrent, racist, and people will go and protest those events, and then the media will say, look how much anti-Semitism has risen because people are protesting something that is like utterly illegal and completely immoral. That's all I'm stating. Falsely, that's the whole religion law. No, it's not. Judaism is the oldest of the Abrahamic religion. And the notion that like the entirety of Judaism revolved around like going to Israel and building an Israeli nation state is so stupid and so ahistorical. Especially considering that Zionism is a relatively modern invention in the long history of Judaism, and that initially many Jews were inherently hostile, inherently resistant, and antagonistic to the notion that they must go and live in Israel. From the likes of prominent Jewish socialists like Albert Einstein, all the way down to like the Orthodox Jewish community that were like way closer to a fundamentalist perspective that believed that there was no theological justification for Jews to be anything but stateless until the Messiah comes. You know what I mean? There was so much resistance from every aspect of the international Jewish community in terms of going to and living in Israel, and especially living in Israel in like the violent ways in which the early Zionist brigades, terror cells, were trying to implement the Israeli nation state. It's like thinking that the Second Amendment has always meant that you can have an AR-15, and that it is not a relatively new interpretation of the Second Amendment that has allowed and protected Americans' rights to buy this like expensive toy that they really like, that they can modify. Very beneficial for the gun manufacturers for you to think that this is like a commodity that is incredibly important for your personality. Lindsey Graham reacts to Trump Gaza's clean out comment. Displacing Palestinians is not practical.
They've been captive in Gaza for 15 months. Israel released 200 Palestinian prisoners. You've been very involved.
I can't believe when Trump says something like we must ethnically cleanse all Palestinians from the land of Gaza. Even Israel Ha, even Mr. Israel Ha, Lindsey Graham is like, Israel, Israel, Israel. Maybe this is a bridge too far. That's crazy.
Involved in this issue, Senator. Last night, when talking about Palestinians who live in Gaza, President Trump said he wants to, quote, clean that whole thing out. What does that mean?
You know, I really don't know. I do know this, that Hamas needs to go. All these guys with masks on and guns, they're scum, and I hope they're dead men walking. What they did to those 4 young ladies, parade them in front of the Palestinian and put them on stage, was disgusting. My heart breaks for what they've gone through. So the idea Hamas survives is a non-starter for me. But the idea that all the Palestinians are going to leave.
What happened to him? Bro, am I crazy? He looks more like shit than he does normally. Like, I feel like he looks extra bad today. What is going on? Lady G's looking rough. I've been having a little too much fun with the boys. Dude, now that Mitch McConnell is fading out, he's turning into Mitch McConnell spiritually and also literally. Like, he's physically turning into Mitch McConnell. What the hell?
He goes somewhere else. I don't see that to be overly practical. I don't know what he's talking about, but go talk to MBS, go talk to the UAE, go talk to Egypt. What is their plan for the Palestinians? Do they want them all to leave?
You've been going there. What is the plan?
Well, I think they want the Palestinians to be able to live with dignity and security for Israel.
But you got to get rid of Hamas first.
You can't do this without getting rid of Hamas. You're dead right. Hamas is the problem for the world, not just the Palestinians. But the question you asked is a good one. Does the Arab world support sending all the Palestinians out of Gaza? I'd be surprised if they did.
I want to turn to a moment this weekend that really had a lot of people wondering what is really going on and what Donald Trump really supports when it comes to elections in Europe. Elon Musk made a special video appearance at a campaign event Saturday for the far-right Alternative for Germany party. He reiterated his support for them ahead of next month's elections. And then he told the crowd the following: I think there's, like, frankly, too much of a focus on the past guilt, and we need to move beyond that. People who, children who should not be guilty of the sins of their parents, or even let alone their parents or their great.
Our Fs are most likely no longer going to be a problem. I have officially connected an Ethernet oh baby, no more effing. If it's still Fs after this moment, it is most likely a consequence of something else, like my GPU or CPU. Because I just connected the Ethernet, I was able to do it finally. And my up and down currently is 830 megabits per second. Download 782.4 megabits per second upload. We're at 1G, baby. 1G up and down. Oh my God. Oh, sugoi. Sugoi. Wow. Wow. Let's go. We're back.
Parents, maybe even. And then he said, you have my full support.
I gotta pee.
I think, the Trump administration is also supportive.
Oh,
Two things. What do you think about him telling Germany to move past?
Well, number one,
sins?
is Elon Musk, a Nazi? I don't think so. I don't believe that at all. Bibi came to his aid. But what he said does bother me in this regard. Tomorrow is the 80th anniversary of liberating Auschwitz. I was just there a few months ago. I don't expect the Germans to be racked with collective guilt all their lives, but I do hope in German schools they educate the German children about what happened in Germany. I hope in our schools that we'll educate people the Holocaust deniers are full of crap. I'm worried that we're losing 80 years on, that we're rewriting history here. The Holocaust was one of the darkest moments in the history of mankind. There are 15 million Jews on the planet. The death camp is to be equivocal. I want every German child, every American child to know what happened and that it's true, not a lie, and we never do it again.
So how are Israeli officials looking at this complex deal and how it is playing out? With us now, the Israeli ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon. Mr. Ambassador, it's always great to talk to you. I just want to pick up on what Trey was saying about Abel Yahoud, the fifth hostage who was supposed to be released yesterday. We're hearing from Islamic Jihad now that she will now be released. Are you confident that that is going to happen?
Jonathan, we signed a very detailed agreement with Hamas and with the negotiators. Unfortunately, we see that Hamas is breaching the agreement. We are negotiating the release of Arbel, and we hope that by the end of the week, we will see her back home. She was supposed to be released by now, and we are working on that. So we are continuing with the agreement, but we expect Hamas to stand up for the agreement, and not only with the release of Arbel, they also were supposed to give us a list of all the hostages and with the details of their health condition. We haven't got that list yet.
Mr. Ambassador, I was interested hearing President Trump say on Saturday that he would like to see Egypt and Jordan take in many of the displaced Palestinians who have lost their homes, obviously, in Gaza. Pushback from Egypt and Jordan, and it seems to me an ongoing part of the situation in the Middle East that those countries and others do not want to have the Palestinian people on their territories. How much of a problem is that, and what does it speak to in a broader perspective?
Well, I think President Trump, he has very creative ideas, and he realizes that if you need a sustainable solution, you need to think about new ideas. And we cannot allow Hamas to stay in charge in Gaza and to rebuild its force. There is no future for the Palestinians in Gaza if Hamas is there. So I think it is about time that many countries will not only talk about the Palestinian issue, but will take action in order to support their future. And to say it clearly, there is no future.
This guy is famously taking time out of his busy schedule, taking down toddler paintings at the United Nations to work on, to do propaganda on Fox News. Respect to Danny Danon, who rose to prominence after the former Israeli ambassador to the UN left his position. And Danny Danon, for those of you who don't know, spends most of his time, going after children's finger painting that he considers is deeply anti-Semitic for writing things like peace in the world. If you think I'm joking, I am not. You know what? I'm going to show you because chat, you have the video, right? One of you must have it ready to go. We must show our new friends who are watching right now what Danny Danon normally works on. Don't give me the Fox News link. Asman said some insane shit again. I don't care about Asman Gold's insane shit. Okay, I'm covering the news. Please. Is this the
Here
English
at the
one?
main entrance of the United Nations,
Here it is.
where thousands of people are passing every day, the UN decided to put an exhibition about world peace. Look at the drawings of children from all around the world. Nothing about Israel. Nothing about our hostages. Look what they have. They don't recognize Israel. They promote hate in those drawings.
They promote hate in those drawings. The zoom in. They promote hate in those drawings. Terror drawings of children. They are using terror fingers to make the terror drawing.
That is shameful.
Shameful. Teach peace, teach war. These children are learning the wrong lessons by not learning that peace is impossible.
This is part of the hypocrisy of the United Nations.
By the way, he did successfully get that painting taken down. Just so you understand, they took the mural down. Shameful.
I demand that the UN will remove this exhibit immediately and will stop with the hypocrisy against Israel.
Hypocrisy. Yeah, he got that shit taken down. UN removes pro-Palestine art from public quilt exhibition. Amazing. Well, now Danny's back talking about Trump has some very good ideas. Population transfer. Get all of Hamas out of Gaza.
For the Palestinians, if Hamas is still in power. That's very clear for us.
Mr. Ambassador, it was fascinating when the 4 IDF soldiers, the 4 women, were released. Next to them, sort of as they were being paraded, they were full of smiles. Next to them were masked Hamas fighters. It does not appear that Hamas has lost its grip on power in Gaza. Is that a failure for the Israeli war effort here?
So we haven't completed the mission. I agree with you. But, Hamas today is not the same Hamas that was in power before October 7th. All the leadership, Yahya Sinwar, Mohammed Def.
Yeah, it's funny. This is like the line that they have to go along with in order to basically sell to their audience that is baying for blood, their constituents that is like baying for blood, that actually this was a major victory and that these genocidal ambitions and these genocidal acts by the Israeli state, the Israeli war machine for the past 16 months actually didn't simply focus on eradicating women, children, the elderly, but simply took out Hamas. They really did do that, I promise. I mean, it's fine. Like, I'll take this. Like, I would rather have them lie because that lie might extend the peace. Yemenis made a song as a response to Trump designating Ansar Allah as a foreign terrorist organization. Yes, but if you think I'm going to watch that, you're out of your dang mind, dude. Think about how much people fucking yelled at me and still consistently yell at me because of the previous Ansar Allah music videos that I've shown on this broadcast. Please, I need to launch my... Oh, you guys want me to watch it so you can cancel me. Got it. They're like, come on, man. Rent is due. Can you watch it, please? Come on, dog. Rent is due. Watch it so I can make a call-out post, Fill that void that Destiny has created by being a sex pest. I would really like to lead the brigades myself.
They're all dead by now, thankful to the work of the IDF. But they don't have the capabilities in terms of threatening us. But we have to continue the mission to finish the job. And that means that we have to make sure that Hamas is not running Gaza anymore. If they will stay in power, it's only a matter of time before the next attack.
And Mr. Ambassador, if we can move north to Lebanon, some problems I gather that the Israelis see with the Lebanese army fulfilling its role near the border areas there. How is that playing out?
So first of all, we comply with the agreement and we respect the agreement. We want to move out of Lebanon, but the agreement states very clearly that the Lebanese military must come in and take the positions. We cannot allow Hezbollah to regroup and take hold of those positions. So we expect the Lebanese military to move faster. That's why I think we need a little bit more time to allow the Lebanese military to get organized and to take the positions that we are evacuating.
And then very briefly, Mr. Ambassador, Islamic Jihad seems to be getting more of a hold in the West Bank and to some extent in Gaza. How concerned are you about a group as radical as Islamic Jihad beginning to get more support in areas like the West Bank?
We are very concerned, and we have seen the influx of terror attacks. But, all the issues we discussed today, it's all connected to Iran. They are the one who are feeding Hamas, feeding Hezbollah, and now they're feeding the terrorist cells in Judea and Samaria. They're sending weapons and ammunition. So I think at the end of the day, Israel, the new administration, Western democracies, we have to deal with Tehran. That is the source of the problem for the Western world.
For sure. Okay, Mr. Ambassador, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.